Welcome, ladies, to day 2 of the challenge. Yesterday, we shattered the biggest weight loss myth, and that is weight loss is not just about calories in versus calories out. And so today, I'm going to show you what the Metabolic Control Center actually is, why it controls your hunger, cravings, and fat burning, and then how to reset it so your body starts burning fat the way that it was designed to, all right? And before we get into all that, I do have to be honest and upfront with you guys and share with you a couple truths that no one is telling you, all right? So truth number 1 is your metabolism isn't broken, all right? If you think your metabolism's broken, I promise you it's not. It's simply just stuck in survival mode, and your body isn't fighting against you. It's just simply protecting you. So all that it's currently doing right now, it may feel like it's fighting against you. It's just doing what it feels is best to protect you. And so if you want to lose weight, you don't need to fight harder or put in more effort or have more grit or discipline or willpower or anything like that. You just simply need to work with your body, not against it. And all of that's going to come down to your metabolic control center, all right? So it is finally time for you to meet your metabolic control center. And so your metabolism, it isn't controlled by your stomach. It's not controlled by your willpower. It's simply controlled by a tiny yet powerful part of your brain called the hypothalamus, all right? So congratulations, you now know what the metabolic control center is. It is your hypothalamus, okay? The hypothalamus is the command center, all right? And it controls hunger and cravings. So your hypothalamus is going to tell you when to eat and when to stop. It's also going to control your fat storage and fat burning abilities. So it's going to decide whether you're burning fat for energy or storing it. And it's also going to control your energy and your metabolism. So it's going to quite literally control how many calories your body burns at rest. And so like we talked about yesterday, I want you to think about your metabolic control center as a thermostat, okay? The thermostat in your house. And so when your thermostat's working correctly, everything's balanced, right? Like the temperature is exactly where you want it to. It's not too hot, not too cold. Like it's right where it needs to be, right? But if that thermostat is broken, then it's either going to be too hot or it's going to be too cold, right? And so when our thermostat is broken, it's going to get stuck in fat storage mode, and it's going to slow down our metabolism and increase our cravings. And so it's proven that the hypothalamus regulates our appetite, fat storage, and energy balance. And so here is the ultimate problem, though. Your hypothalamus, it's always scanning your body, and it's always asking one question continuously. Am I safe or am I under attack? And so depending on how you've been living life, if it feels threatened, your hypothalamus will panic and slow your metabolism down to protect you, okay? So let's say, for example, you're not eating enough and your body feels like it's starving itself. It's going to lower that thermostat, all right? Or maybe you're one of those people where like you're just trying to do anything and everything and you're pushing really hard. Maybe you're exercising too much. Well, that's going to stress the thermostat out as well. And so this is why diets and workouts alone will never fix your weight and your health long term. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Like you've already tried to eat less, move the body more, but the scale just isn't going down, right? And you're not waking up with the body that you want, and you still have weight to lose, right? And that's because diets and workouts alone are never going to fix the weight and the health long term, because diets and workouts aren't the actual issue. So what is really messing up your metabolic control center? How did it get so dysregulated to where we're at right now? Well, there are 3 enemies to the metabolic control center, all right? So enemy number 1 is stress, okay? So when your body is under stress, it releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And so chronically high cortisol levels are going to tell your hypothalamus, hey, we need to hold on to fat for survival. And this is a big problem because it's going to lead to stubborn belly fat, cravings, and energy crashes. And science is very clear on this. Like stress is linked to higher cortisol levels and increased abdominal fat storage. And so if you notice that you're carrying weight around your midsection and your belly, your upper thighs, lower back, love handle, stress is 100% playing a part in that. Now, the second enemy to your metabolic control center is inflammation, okay? So inflammation is your body's fire alarm system, right? Like it goes off when things are not where they need to be, right? If something's wrong. And so when we have lots of inflammation, it's like that fire alarm is just constantly going off. And as you can imagine, that would confuse your metabolic control center, right? Because it's like alert, alert, alert constantly, right? And that's a problem. And it's a problem because inflammation blocks leptin, okay? So leptin is the hormone that tells your brain you're full, which is going to cause increased hunger and fat storage. And so it also is going to increase and create insulin resistance. So this is going to make weight loss nearly impossible. Like if you guys are insulin resistant, which I think it's safe to say most of you ladies watching this right now, like you probably are showing signs of that, it's going to be really, really, really hard to release weight. And science is very clear on this. Like if we have chronic inflammation, it's going to disrupt leptin signals, it's going to lead to overeating, and it's going to lead to weight gain and obesity. Now, the third enemy of the metabolic control center is your gut and our gut health, okay? So our gut health is home to trillions of bacteria that directly impact our metabolism. And so I'm not sure if you guys know this, but in the science community, the gut is being called the second brain because of how much it actually impacts our brain and our metabolism and our overall health. And so a damaged gut will lead to what's called leaky gut syndrome, and this causes inflammation, bloating, and hormonal imbalances. And so the wrong balance of gut bacteria can make you store more fat. And I know this is going to sound crazy. You're probably not going to believe me, but there are some bacteria that are quite literally obesity promoting. And so when it comes to our gut bacteria, we have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria. And so it's not about completely eliminating the bad bacteria because we quote unquote need some of that bad bacteria. You just have to have the right balance of the gut bacteria. And so when we have more of the wrong gut bacteria, that's when it's going to be obesity promoting, okay? And science is very clear on this. Like the gut microbiome 100% influences weight gain, fat storage, and cravings. And so the bottom line is that the main root cause to your weight gain and inability to release weight right now is due to either stress, inflammation, gut health, or a combination of all three, all right? It has nothing to do with calories in versus calories out at this point. And so it's either because of stress, inflammation, gut health, or a combination. And so the secret sauce is you have to recalibrate your metabolic control center if you want to release weight and get to where you want to go. And so the problem is that most people only focus on diet and exercise. That's all they focus on. They think they just have to focus on eat less, move more. Yet, if that, again, were the case, like would we have millions of Americans overweight and obese? Would that obesity rate keep climbing up year after year after year? If that were the case, if that were true, if the problem really was calories in versus calories out? No. And the reason why is because they are ignoring the actual crux of what makes our body healthy and what impacts our health the most. And that is lowering stress, reducing inflammation, and healing our gut. And so this is the difference between forcing weight loss and trying to will it into existence versus just making it effortless. And science is very clear. A healthy gut and balanced stress response and reduced inflammation will lead to sustainable weight loss. But the problem is no one focuses on this stuff. They try to focus on the calories in versus calories out, and they don't actually try to get their body healthy on a deep level. And so our approach is not about quick fixes. It's about getting your body healthy on a deep level so your metabolism and all of the systems in your body work the way that it was designed to, all right? So how do we actually get our body back into that healthy state? How do we get our body on a healthy level? How do we reset our metabolic control center? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's a simple 3-step formula, all right? So step number 1 is we have to calm our nervous system down. And the reason why is because lower stress is going to result in lower cortisol. Lower cortisol is going to turn off our fat storage mode. And so there's a ton of evidence supporting this, specifically with the HPA axis. So stress activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. It's called the HPA axis. And basically, long story short, when we have elevated cortisol levels, it's going to promote visceral fat accumulation and metabolic disturbances, all right? So this is why step number 1 is we have to calm down the nervous system. Number 2 is we have to reduce inflammation, and we need to do that by eating the right foods to lower inflammation naturally, all right? When it comes to inflammation, chronic inflammation disrupts hormonal signaling, and it's going to increase leptin resistance, which is going to lead to an increased appetite and fat storage. And so this is why we need to reduce the inflammation inside of our body, but we don't want to do that through medications or non-natural ways, because that is not going to heal the body on a deep level. Does that make sense? That would be, we don't want to reduce inflammation through a quick fix or a Band-Aid approach, because it's not going to actually help out long term, right? So we need to make sure we're doing it naturally. And then the third and final part of the formula to resetting your metabolic control center is you have to heal the gut, and you have to rebalance gut bacteria so your metabolism fires up and everything on the gut-brain axis is running smoothly, for a lack of better words. And so there's a thing called the gut-brain axis, and this basically highlights the bidirectional communication between the gastrointestinal tract and the central nervous system. And this is where gut microbiota, it literally influences metabolic regulation and energy balance. So in other words, your gut quite literally influences your metabolism and your energy and your hormones, all right? And so this is why we have to heal the gut. And so when you address all of these together, this is how you go from a dysregulated metabolic control center to a regulated metabolic control center. And the goal is you have to have a regulated metabolic control center if you not only want to release the weight, but also stay where you want, because you have to create a new set point. And this is the ultimate path to be able to not only have the body that you want, but take back control of your health as well. And so I want to go over with you guys a quick way for you to get a quick win today, all right? So I'm going to be going over the MCC activation ritual, all right? So you guys now know the 3 biggest culprits to sabotaging your metabolic control center. It's stress, inflammation, and gut health. So now that you guys know that, let's do something about it. Let's start to fix it. Let's start to improve it. And so instead of just overwhelming you with a bunch of complicated changes and having you do a million different things at one time, I simply just want to give you a powerful, simple, just activation ritual that you can do first thing in the morning to start shifting your metabolism and body in the right direction. And so your body follows predictable patterns each day. And so what you do in the first 30 minutes after waking up is going to send a powerful message to your hypothalamus about whether it should burn fat or store fat. So for example, if you start your day in stress mode, your metabolism and your hypothalamus is going to stay in survival mode, because that is the pattern that you're giving it, all right? But if you start your day with balance, your metabolism and your hypothalamus is going to start to work for you, not against you, because you're not putting it in a survival state of being. You're not putting it in survival mode. So today's challenge is I want you to do the metabolism activation ritual, okay? So it's this 3-step practice I'm going to teach you right now that is designed to calm stress, lower inflammation, and support gut health before your day starts, all right? It takes 5 minutes. Everyone has 5 minutes, and if you're really serious about your health and losing the weight, this is a very powerful thing that you can do in the morning, all right? So without further ado, let's get into it, all right? So step number 1 of this ritual is we're going to do what is called a cortisol drop, all right? Why are we going to do a cortisol drop? The reason why is overnight, your stress hormone, cortisol, is going to rise when you wake up. So your body will produce cortisol to wake you up. That is how the body knows when to wake up. And so cortisol rising to wake you up is not a bad thing. It's normal. We're never going to change it. It's part of being a human being. It only becomes an issue if cortisol stays high, because if it stays high, it's going to signal fat storage, which is what we don't want, right? So the goal is to basically flush out the cortisol as quickly as we can when we wake up. So what I want you guys to do is at the end of your morning shower, I want you to turn the water cold for 30 seconds. I know me saying that, you're probably like, oh, frick, I don't want to do this. This doesn't sound like fun. This sucks. This isn't going to be fun. And you're right. It's not fun. Like getting in cold water is not fun. It's not enjoyable. But as they say, beauty is pain, right? And we can't have something for nothing. Like anything that's good or worth having in life, it comes at a trade-off. There has to be some type of give and take with it, right? And so I encourage you guys to really truly do this. Either turn the water cold for 30 seconds, or if that is too much and that's just too scary to do right from the beginning, you can splash your face with cold water for 10 seconds instead, okay? And so what's going to happen is the cold exposure is going to help reset your nervous system and lower cortisol, and it's going to help your metabolism start to work properly, all right? And science is very clear on this. Cold exposure reduces stress hormones, and it improves metabolic function, okay? So please take this seriously. I know it might not be the most enjoyable, right? It's temporary suffering, it's temporary uncomfortability, but it's really kind of one of the only ways to lower your cortisol levels, all right? Especially first thing in the morning, and it doesn't take a lot of time, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, all right? So really buy into this, and the more you do it, the easier it gets as well, all right? Now, step number 2 is we're then going to do an inflammation flush, okay? And this is what we're going to do. It's basically morning hydration, okay? So why do we need to do this? Well, your body naturally detoxes overnight. So it does a lot of detoxification when we're sleeping. But if you don't hydrate first thing in the morning, the inflammation levels are going to rise, and that's going to slow your metabolism. And so what do most people do? When they first wake up, they usually go for coffee, or they go for like a cup of coffee, right? That is like one of the worst things that you could possibly do, all right? It's literally going to do the opposite of what we're trying to do here. And so what I want you to do instead is don't go for that coffee immediately. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to drink 16 to 20 ounces of water first thing in the morning. And I want you to add a pinch of sea salt, and I want you to add some fresh lemon to that to replenish your minerals, all right? When you do this is going to help flush your toxins out, it's going to reduce your bloating, and it's going to improve gut function. And the reason why is because science is very clear that hydration impacts your metabolism and your fat oxidation rates, all right? And then not to mention, when you're sleeping for 4, 5, 8, 10, 12 hours, you are literally not consuming anything when you're sleeping. You're not drinking anything. So your body, when it wakes up, it's also going to be dehydrated, all right? So we don't want to start the day in a dehydrated place. That's not telling the body we're in a safe situation, that we're in a safe environment, right? That's also going to lead to your hypothalamus being like, hey, I need some water. I'm dehydrated. This isn't good, right? Like putting your body in a state of dehydration is not going to signal safety and security, okay? So this is really important. Step number 2, make sure to do. And it literally takes 1 minute. Just chug 16 to 20 ounces of water with sea salt, lemon, you're good to go. Now, the last step is the gut power up, okay? So as I mentioned earlier, the gut is literally your second brain. And so movement is going to activate your digestion. Movement is going to improve your insulin sensitivity, and it's going to signal your hypothalamus to burn fat. So what I want you to do is at the start of your day, I want you to incorporate some type of gentle movement, okay? So you can do 10 bodyweight squats, 10 standing twists, 30 seconds of marching in place. Like, I want you guys to spend 3 to 10 minutes of doing gentle movement. You can also just go for a walk outside, or go for a walk if you have a treadmill, or literally just like march in place. Do the jump rope, like do some type of movement, because it's going to wake up your gut circulation and your metabolism. And it's proven that light movement improves our glucose metabolism and our insulin response. So this is going to be the last step to that activation ritual, all right? Now, I do want to be clear, this activation ritual, while it's going to help, it isn't the end-all be-all, okay? So this in and of itself isn't going to completely solve your dysregulated metabolic control center, all right? And it's really important that you guys understand that your metabolic control center is unique. Okay, so what I mean is not everyone's metabolic control center works the same way. So some of you guys watching this right now, your main issue is stress, okay? Your stress is what's impacting your metabolic control center, and it's keeping your body stuck in survival mode. For others, for some of you, it could be chronic inflammation. So the inflammation is what's impacting your metabolic control center, and it's just making fat loss feel impossible. Or for many of you guys, it could be gut health related issues, and this is what's impacting your metabolic control center, and it's silently slowing your metabolism down, and you may not even realize it. And so because your metabolic control center is unique, this is why most cookie cutter diets and stuff don't work, and why they no longer have been working. And this is why oftentimes doing more isn't always better either, because let's say, for example, your main issue is gut health, but you're focusing on doing all the work for stress and inflammation. Well, that's not going to do you any good, right? Because you're not actually addressing the underlying issue that pertains to your body and your metabolic control center, right? So it's not about working harder or doing more. It's really about working smarter. And so it's critical that you're addressing the right parts of your metabolic control center, all right? And so you might be thinking at this point in time, man, this makes so much sense, Austin, but I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. Or, hey, I don't know if stress, inflammation, or gut health is my biggest issue. Like, I don't know what it is. Or maybe you just don't want to waste any more time trying to find things or do things that might not work for you at this point. And so if this is something that you'd like to explore more and you want some help with, and you want to figure out, hey, what part of what three enemies are actually impacting my metabolic control center, my team and I are doing a handful of metabolic control center consults this week. So what we do on these metabolic control center consults is we're just really straight up just going to pinpoint and help you identify whether stress, inflammation, or gut health is the culprit in keeping your metabolism stuck and impacting your metabolic control center. And we'll also help you understand why your body is responding the way that it is and how to reset it. And we'll create for you just a simple plan to get your metabolism working for you and not against you, all right? So if this is something that you want to learn more about, you want to take advantage of, you can just comment down below, tell me more, or you can just quite literally click the button down below and you can just schedule a free consult with us before we fill up. But I do want to be transparent with you guys. We can only do a handful of these consults each week just because we only have so much time in the day. And so we can only really work about like 8 hours a day. So that's like 8 calls we can take a day. So we can only do these for a handful of you guys. So I encourage you guys, if you wanting to lose weight and improve your health is something that's serious, take advantage of this sooner rather than later, because I would hate for you to be the person that wants to go and do a consult, but then like took a little bit too long to kind of take action, and we ended up being filled up and we don't have any more slots left, all right? So if you want to do a consult, just comment down below, tell me more, or just click the button down below, and you can go and schedule your free metabolic consult with us, all right? Now, what is coming next? All right. Well, what's coming next is I'm going to be breaking down and I'm going to be teaching you the hidden truth about healthy foods that are wrecking your metabolism, guys. So you took today a massive step towards understanding how to reset your metabolic control center, and you're probably already starting to connect the dots on why your body's been stuck in survival mode instead of fat burning mode. But I want to ask you guys, like, what if the very foods you think are actually helping you are actually hurting you and are actually what's keeping you stuck? And what if the so-called healthy foods that you're eating every single day, what if they're actually secretly slowing your metabolism, increasing your cravings, and hijacking your hunger signals? And what if the food labels aren't telling you the whole story, and certain ingredients that you're consuming are sending the wrong signals to your hypothalamus, making fat loss harder than it needs to be? Well, tomorrow I'm going to be exposing the 27 healthy food ingredients that are secretly wrecking your metabolism. And these ingredients are hiding in foods that you probably eat every single day. Like, I'm super confident that they're literally in your pantry right now. And unfortunately, they're tricking your hypothalamus into making you hungry, storing fat, and just slowing your metabolism down. And food companies don't want you to know this stuff, but after tomorrow, you're never going to look at food labels the same way again. And so I'm going to be teaching you exactly how to read food labels like a metabolism expert, so you can start avoiding the hidden toxins that are literally keeping you stuck and sabotaging your weight loss. All right. So trust me, me. You do not want to miss this one. And yeah, that concludes today's training, guys. I hope you're excited for tomorrow's training. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below, drop a comment. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want additional help with your Metabolic Control Center, I highly recommend you go book a Metabolic Control Center consult with us. It's 100% free, and we can help you get more direction on which of the 3 enemies are impacting you. And that'll do it, guys. Looking forward to tomorrow's training. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.